Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You can see the reflections in my eyes. Hi, family. So today, I am improvising with so many things. And you know, I've always said this is a heart-to-heart experience that I go with the flow, I learn as I go, and I keep it moving. So these are the things that I have done this time. I am with my family in Rome, Georgia, having us a wonderful time. I don't know if you recall me mentioning, hey, that on your calendar, you put time that you want to spend with your family. And I've mentioned before that one of the things my family does is we do our best to have a monthly gathering, and it's just so much fun. And we are spending the weekend at my mom's, so we're watching the football game and having us a good time. And it's like, oh, I gotta do the show later. Then I thought about the drive. Like, I'm just gonna do it here. So, with that being said, I said, now how am I going to do this? I just so happened to have brought my iPad. My husband brought his iPad. I happened to bring my stand. It was like so many things that I had not planned in doing the show with, because I planned to be back home by the time for the show. But that's what happens when you're having fun. Time flies by, and then you improvise. And guess what? It's okay. Remember, it's okay. So for the music, I couldn't get it to do right. So I'm going to do my own music for tonight. Uh-oh, there I go with that rhyming. Hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. So, boom, 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 boom. Now I have my little heart going on there. And hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I can't even think of how my song goes now, other than the boom, boom. Okay. Well, I love you, I love you, I love you, and I'm always thinking of you, of you, of you. And this is my song I'm singing today, 'cause things have to happen either way. So welcome, family, to Heart with Lady Love. And tonight, remember, if you've been following, who can put in the chat or even just put a heart, let me know if you know the topic that we are discussing this evening. If you've been following me, if you've been looking at them, if you've been reading them, let me know. And while we're doing this, if you're not following me, make sure that you do. Hey, hi, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. And send a message out to a friend or family member, anyone that you feel would like some positive feedback, some being around positivity. You know, we have to break away from the misery. Hi, welcome, welcome. So we are going to be talking about, in episode 2 of Mental Programming and Clarity, who taught you how to think? Let's think about that for a moment. Who taught you how to think? Things that make you say, because that's gonna take us a little deep, right? So maybe I can use these and see. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the eyes. I think it's a senior thing, because y'all know I'm getting on up there, and I think I got to go do my eyes again. because these are like my little readers I try to use, and because I don't like stuff anyway. So I got to figure this part out. So I'm going to have to do like this so I can see the other things and see if you're commenting like I would love for you to do. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And who knows what we're talking about. So we're talking about how we think and who taught us how to think. So why are we talking about this? Well, we're talking about this because it is an invisible teacher in your life. Your mental programming is your invisible teacher in your life, because some of us, and some of the things that we call stress, I feel like I'm looking, well, it might be because of the way I'm looking now, right? Okay. Some of the things that we call stress is an old script that's just playing on repeat. Hello, hello, hello. That's just playing on repeat. So if you're here with me, let me know you're here. Share a heart so I'll know, so I can feel the connection. So it could be from my heart to yours, my heart to yours. And I done put this in the way. Lord, y'all, I tell you the truth is. Okay. Anywho, we going to keep it moving. So let's start with our normal routine of taking us a breath, coming in. Hey, Dave, thank you so much for the hearts. Thank you, thank you. I see you, TikTok. Thank you, Facebook. And we're going to take us a breath. And what is our theme for the month? I respond and not react. So let's take a deep breath in. Low and out. I respond, not react. And family, if I will, I want to share with you, I'm here with family, and I also found myself, we had a nice, how I want to call it, family growth that we experienced with emotions everywhere, and I had to have myself shift from reacting to responding myself, because before I knew it, I had jumped into a reactive mode because of emotions. Remember last week we talked about that's one of the main reasons as to how we get there is once the emotions take over, everything else you kind of lose control over. Your volume, your pitch, your tone, all of that begins to shift because now you're in a reaction mode. And I experienced that for myself today, and I had to back up, take a deep breath, and calm myself back to a responsive mode than a reactive one. And the one thing I love about my family and all of us here is that we help each other to do that. And it's not always easy, but when you have the love there and you know the ultimate goal, then you can do it. We did it. It was great. And at the end, it was just a whole greater experience. But you got to have the gatherings to have the situations, to have the growth. See how that goes? So that's why our theme is respond, don't react. And we talked about last week, if you didn't get to see it, go to the playback on YouTube, and you can look at it on here and get those nuggets from there. Hey, sweetheart. I love it when I see my students and even more the family join, and you all tap other people, send messages and have them to come on and experience this with us tonight. So I always go over at least 3 points for teaching moments. And so the first one I want to talk about is what exactly is the mental programming? I'm not coming right back to Scott, but I want to come to the games. I know the basketball season has started. I know practice has. So make sure you inbox me the schedule for the games. I want to come to the games. I would love to be there. If I could be at Scott and where I am, y'all know I would. But I'd love to share myself with everyone. But I do plan to come to the guy, started again. Hey, it came back. Ah, see, learn something else. There we go. Patience is a virtue, right? So that teaching point number 1. So remember, if you have pen and paper, why does this keep getting in the way? To jot these things down, feel free. So the mental programming is a set of beliefs, scripts, assumptions, any of these things that you have learned about stress, money, love, rest, strength, success, all of that. Where does the programming actually come from? The programming is going to come from all things you are involved in, meaning your family, your culture, your school, your religion, your faith, your trauma, your survivals, your stories. These are the things that program you mentally. The television. So think about a television, even though, we watch television. I watch television. And it's funny how have you ever thought about, I mentioned it in the book, that TV or television does just what it says it does by name. Hello. It tells a vision. Television. What visions is it telling? Well, what are you watching? Are you watching a whole lot of negativity, violence, or bloody stuff, or action? Now, I know I'm an action girl. I like action movies. I'm about the good conquering the bad and the good over the evil, and all, because I don't like negativity. And when people get caught doing bad, let's get them. That's me. And I don't like to watch like horror movies. And I have a question for those of you who like horror movies. My question is, and just think about it, I don't want you to get bent out of shape. It's a thought. Because I said I know why I like action movies, and the type of action movies is good over evil. Point blank. That's me, and that's because that's what I believe in. And that's also what I feel based on my faith and my belief, being on Jehovah's side and not Satan's side. God is going to conquer Satan. Christ conquers Satan. You see what I'm saying? So it's in harmony with my beliefs. So I am about the good versus the bad, and the good defeating the bad and all that good stuff. Okay? That's in Lady Love's world. So I have an explanation, and it's good to know your exclamation. Your, what I'm trying to say? Your explanation for what you do. Okay? So my question for horror movies, because I've never been able to grasp it myself, what is it, this is specifically for you, that you like about horror movies? And one, we have to classify horror. So to me, horror movies are those just bloody, glory, people just doing disgusting things, and it's just almost like it's not anything, you almost don't see anything else but horrifying things. And the goal is the jump and scare you and all that stuff. But my question is, why is that your choice of entertainment? It's your choice. I don't have a problem with that, but answer that for yourself and see how much it aligns with the core of who you are. Because television tells a vision. There's so many things out there for the diversity of people's appetite for entertainment, and it's for you, not for me. Okay? And it's helping you to grow more into yourself, because that's a part of your programming that you begin to use as your thinking patterns. Like it or not, it is if you study the brain and that process. Okay, so that's what it is. So you ask yourself, what is the most common stress that you feel when you have this thought? With the programming of saying, I have to, hello, the programming of saying, I'm behind, the programming of saying, I can't. Think of those words. I have to, I'm behind, and I can't. Think about those. And then you're going to think about when you catch yourself saying them, why is it a choice that you're choosing to use for your verbiage? Okay? Got it? Yep. So that's what we're going to do with that. So a belief that I inherited that looked like strength but felt like pressure. So can you think of a belief that looked like strength that you have but felt like pressure? I'm going to give you an example in a moment. Y'all, my throat is so dry. And remember, before I was telling you about my my aloe that I put in my water now. Well, I left it for the weekend coming up here, and my throat is like dry. Okay, y'all got your thoughts? Give me some hearts. I'm going to give an example now. And this example is something that actually applied to me as well. So, here's an example. If I don't hold it together, for all of us who have that strength role, that caregiver, you carry things, you carry your load. If I don't hold it together, everything is just going to fall apart. If I don't hold it together, everything is going to fall apart. That belief in itself did make me mad. However, it made me tired. Some of the things that we believe makes us tired. I have to can make you tired. Saying those things. The bridge between those is that you have to be aware of the first intervention that you're going to need for that. Okay? If you're following me, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you're with me. You're with me. So that part of teaching method number 1 is, what is the mental programming? It's all of those things within itself. All the background things. All the things that we tell ourselves. All the things that we create in our own thinking process. But that still comes from, the first thing I'll probably, it's going to be your family, because that's where you're born into this world into, right? Your mom, your dad, right? I guess that's where y'all came from. If you didn't, I need you to go on and click off. No, I'm just kidding. No, you do need to click off. So let's go further into that and bridge this. I know I can't help it. I'm so silly. Let me see. What y'all saying over here? Hold on. Let me see. I can't. I think when I lost my other thing, but I can't get it on here. Anywho, you know I always go through when I do my playback and all that, and I do responses and other things there too. Hi, sweetheart. Welcome, and thank you, my TikTokers. Teaching point number 2. Stress can create a stress loop. Kind of like you think of it like a figure 8. A stress loop. And it's triggered in this order, that we may not think about. So it starts with your thought, your reaction, your regret, and then you repeat. Thought, action, regret, repeat. Thought, action, regret, repeat. How many times are we doing things that we regret doing, but then we continue to do it? It's on repeat, and it's like, why am I still doing this, or why am I still doing that, right? Hey, Mel. So let's think about it this way. So, excuse me. This example will be, and this is something. Let's think about this. And I know I found myself saying this. So if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Or if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. You know, we have been programmed with all of these things. It's not true. We make it true because, remember, nothing has meaning except the meaning that we give it. So if you feel like you have to do, if you want something done, you have to do it, then you're right in your world. And then you start forming your thinking habits around a belief like that, then all the other pressures will come along. So what does I have to do it all lead to? That's going to lead to overcarrying, and burnout. Just thinking about the words, I have to do it all, just the words, just those words themselves, don't they sound heavy? And some people have that mentality. I have had that mentality because I'm such a strong, giving person on one side, and I'm like, okay, I want to make sure this gets done. So if I'm going to make sure it gets done, then that means I'm going to have to do it. That's my thinking pattern. It doesn't make it true. It makes it mine. And that's what we have to learn with each other. My truth may not be your truth. Either way, it's okay. Truth in things makes it yours. So we have to remember too that when we share things and say, well, I feel this way and I feel that way, and this is what I believe, and this is what I'm basing this on, and this is my truth, and all of that is all well and good. But what we have to keep in mind is the other thing about that particular truth for yourself is that it's also yours. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it wrong. It makes it yours. Think about that. So we can have our truth, and the things that you share about your truth, your mentality, in my opinion, is you have to have factual information that you, again, are going to have to be comfortable with, accept or not accept. For example, we have a sun in the sky. Some people might say, well, that's not really a sun. That's something else. Or what? I'm just giving a broad example. And even the color of the sun and the purpose of the sun and all those things, everybody can give it their own meaning, because nothing has meaning except the meaning you give it, right? And it sounds so simple, and you can make it complicated, but it's simple. It's your truth. All the your stuff is a part of you. This is my truth. This is my hair. This is my favorite color. This is my show. This is what, and it's okay because it's mine. And if people don't like it, they don't have to get on it. They don't have to be a part of it. They can create their own show. And then you have others like, oh, I want to follow this. I might want to do that. whatever those are, it's okay. And you'll be happy and peaceful. Okay? So the other thing that happens with the I have to do it all, you overcarry and you burn out. Now, this is the other thing that some will say about that rest is lazy. So let's think about that part. If you're feeling that rest is lazy, the other thing can be like, I don't need but 2 hours of sleep. I don't need but 4 hours. Thank you for the hearts. Now, I've heard people say this, and I'm just like, I think I mentioned it in the book too, that, hey, now, punky fool, that, and you may have said it, and if you said it, guess what? It's okay. But I find it very, I'm going to just say it. I will sleep when I die. Have you heard that? If you've heard somebody say, well, I'll rest when I die. Because I know I'm not the only one that's heard it, because I've heard several people say it. And then it's like, well, why would you want to do that? You know, what is so important that you wouldn't want to take care of your body to rest? Because rest is like a part of how we function. But some people live by that motto. So I'm just talking about thinking. So if that's your thinking, then that's like saying rest is lazy. If you need rest, you're being lazy because you're supposed to rest when you're dead. You follow how those are linked together? And then what else happens with that? You're going to have guilt. So that means that when you rest, you're being lazy. Now you're going to feel guilty for being lazy. And then that's going to cause a whole different level of exhaustion. Think about it. No rest, exhaustion. Mentality, I'll rest when I'm dead, exhaustion. Because number one, you're not being realistic. But it's your choice not to be realistic. And it's okay. That's your world. You're going to live in it. We're going to reap what we sow. Putting all these things together is how we create the way we think. This is why we can change the way we think. If, number one, you want to. Because no one can make you. No one should even try to make you think the way they think. You think the way you think. And nobody can just make you do that, okay? They'll try. Because, you know, you have some that, you know, something wrong with everybody else's world but theirs. Some people are like that, and it's okay because that's who they are. And what did I say about the way we should view each other in a way that help all of us to give one, compassion, to show humility, to be humble, is that everyone does the best they can as who they are at that time. Think about that. Let that really hit home. And what is that message saying? Is even if someone has bad habits, we all have some kind of bad habit, right? If that's a habit that you don't really know you have until maybe it's brought to your attention in some shape, form, or fashion, or even you realize it yourself, before that happened, you're doing the best you can as who you are because you don't even know you have the habit, right? But if I'm giving that credit of, well, they're doing the best they can, because you don't know what their best is, and you don't have the right to say what their best is. Stay in your lane, boo. My best is not your best is not my best. But who does know about the best, that's the man upstairs. Remember, we talk about that on a whole different level. That's where your spirituality has to come into play. Okay? So, we're going to talk about this loop. Which loop sounds like you? What's your loop? I don't know if I need to hit this thing over here. Let's see. Just tell me what your loop is. Something that you feel that you are. Like, are you one of those that you have to do it all? Are you one of those who don't do nothing at all? You know, you could be from one end to the other, right? So just ask yourself that. So now I'm going to drop a wisdom cue that I want to give, 7:32. And this is called my Purple Rain Wisdom Drop. Okay? So, and it's spelled rain, R-A-I-N-E. And y'all know my sister's name is Lorraine with R-A-I-N-E. And she's so sweet. That's my boo-boo. I got a lot of boo-boo, but that's my poo-poo too. Well, actually, she's really my only biological sister. So she's like in a whole thing by herself because she's the only for me in that part of my life. See what I'm saying? So anyway, but rain. So write down the word rain. R-A-I-N-E. And this is coming from Purple Rain. I told y'all how I got that name, right? You have to go back to look at it. And make sure y'all are following me. Invite others to follow me because I really want to reach hearts and share and give. And my goal actually is to make this a better place to live because we got to love negativity. I'm a voice for the children. Those who know me know that about me. I don't play about children because grown folk, we the ones that mess them up. So get it out your head. There's something wrong with these kids because it's a pass down. Something wrong with them because you jacked them up. We jacked them up. Because they were fine when they were first born. Then they were living with us. But y'all see how I go to a whole nother level. But anyway, these children are only doing the best they can as who they are. And they're learning just as we are as adults. Learning never stops. You're either growing or you're dying. There's no standing still. There's no in between. And children are in a place where they grow with their emotions, but they have to keep them inside because us grown folk want to act like we think we know everything. Number one, we don't. Number two, if we operated from a place of love versus proving and checking people in those different things, we will be a whole lot better. Because I don't have any problem out of children from small to large. And it's like I'm drawn to them because I can feel their hurt. I can feel their pain. One, I've been there, done that. And two, it's made me who I am, where it's helped me to be who I am. All the things that I've gone through, right? So, write the rain down. So, the first thing for our wisdom in this is the R stands for recognize. Hi. We first have to recognize. Recognize that thought. Recognize those feelings. Recognize them. Then the A is acknowledge them. You know how sometimes you can feel a type of way and you don't really like the fact that that's how you feel about something? It doesn't change the fact that that's how you feel, though. Correct? And you can't lie to yourself. You can try, but I promise you it's going to be an unsuccessful journey. Because don't nobody know you like you do because it's your thoughts. Nobody else knows your thoughts. Nobody else knows your true standards of living. Because we have the us that we show, and then we have the us that's on the inside. So acknowledge it. The I is the next step of what I was saying. The I is for inquire. Why do I feel this way? But when you inquire, don't put it on somebody else. I feel this way because so-and-so did so-and-so. No. And I might be hurting your feelings. I might be tapping on your toes because it's true. Because if you don't even know why you're feeling a certain way, how can you even say you know where it's coming from? Okay? So, we're going to inquire. That's digging deep. Then, as we're inquiring, the N is for naming the need. Okay. So, I'm feeling like this, and you finally like to know why. And now what are you going to do with it? Give it a name. Name what that feeling is so that you can name it, and then the E is for exhale and choose. So the choice is respond or react, but we're going to exhale so we can choose that. You can't choose what you're not aware of. You can't acknowledge what you're not aware of. So you got to let it rain. And when you let it rain purple, it's purple rain. And we have recognize, acknowledge, inquire, name, exhale, and choose. So type rain if you got that. R-A-I-N-E, rain. Or show me some hearts. Thank you. So, that 3 was with that teaching method. That's the last one I'm going to do for tonight. Because I'm going to go ahead and also give a little bit of info for what's going to be coming next. But we want to do a reprogram swap. So, things that can be learned, we also call it unlearned. You can learn something, you can unlearn something. It's the process of, okay, I thought this was this, but now I've learned something else, so now I'm going to replace this with that. It's a whole process, okay? So we're going to swap the language that we use. So let's take some things like we can swap I have to. So let's just say, because I'm going to say this too. You don't have to do anything. Am I right or am I right? You don't have to do anything. And whatever that is, you will deal with the consequences or the benefits of what it is you don't do. But you don't have to do anything. I take that from children up to us as adults. And I experience it on so many levels because, like, I work with children. And I talk with parents, and let's say they're like, this child just does not do anything I ask them to do. And and as children, they do choose if they're going to do something or not. As hard as it may be to hear, it's still the truth. But here's the other side. When you do choose to do what I ask you to do or tell you to do, you have benefits. When you don't, you have consequences. But the choice was still yours. So it can say, for us as adults, I have to go to work. No, you don't. Do you have to go to work? So let's change that and swap it to, I choose to go to work. Because you are making that choice. The only time you're not making a choice, well, you're still making a choice even then. It used to be the saying of, unless somebody has a gun to your head, then you're making a choice. But you actually do have a choice still when somebody has a gun to your head. You have a choice to do what they tell you to do or go ahead and end your life. It's still a choice you could take. True? So we have to get out of and doesn't it feel better to say, I choose to go to work than I have to go to work? Because you can say you choose to go to work and have the same reasons for why you say you have to. But put it in the perspective of the truth of what it is and reprogram it and swap it for, instead of I have to, I choose to. Or you can also use I'm deciding if I will. You don't have to do something right away when someone asks you to do something or you're trying to figure out something. I'm deciding if I'm going to do that. And this is going to be a swap for me too, because I told you I'm a learning machine and I learn as I go and I teach as I grow. Right? And when you teach what you know, it reinforces whether you truly believe it and you feel comfortable with it and you can explain it. And people also think that when you're explaining something that is for them. Now, sometimes you're explaining something to make sure that it's resonating with yourself. You know that, right? So that's one of them. And swap, I can't rest, and put rest is a part of my regulation. Because if you've not had rest, then you can't compare it to what it's like when you have it. But when you get it and you have a pattern of resting a certain amount of time, and I do get, like, some people 8 hours of sleep, 7, 10, and then they change it. You know, everybody needs 8 hours of sleep. Then they change it to 6. Then they change it to 7. Okay, so at the end of the day, you decide that as you grow into that, because there can be several reasons why you're not resting. I think I have sleep apnea according to my family, because I think I'm the loudest snorer in the house when we get together. And I'll be like, don't want to go to sleep, because I'm like, I'm going to wake up everybody. But at least my cousin will make me feel better. They said, girl, you got it honest, because your great-grandmama, see, and now I feel better, but I'm like, I be snoring that loud. So, but I get my rest, so I think. Because I'm doing the best I can as who I am based on the knowledge I have of how my body feels and what I call getting sleep. But I could get better sleep if I go and get a diagnosis and do that, because I'm going on information that I'm learning, and now I want to apply what I need to do to find out how accurate is this. And then if that does affect how I'm sleeping, it's not going to happen until I take the action to do that. Do a test, find out, then sleep some more after that, because what I could have been calling rest wasn't rest at all. You feel me? You can apply that to everything in your life. Okay, so rest is a part of my regulation. You also have to tell yourself that you need rest. Because if your mindset is you don't need rest, then how are you going to tell yourself you need rest? It's not going to happen. Okay? Let's also have, let me get some feedback from you. Comment if have to is a part of what's been your script. Are you one of those that I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this, I have to do that? Listen for it in other people. Ask people who know you and have conversations with you a lot. Do I say I have to a lot? Because remember, I also mentioned that we can be saying things that's a habit that we don't even know it's a habit, but it's a programming process, back to the mental programming, that has developed your thinking towards the things that you have to do, which identifies your personality of who you are becoming. And if you don't like who you're becoming, you can always change it. One of my Legal Shield guys, I miss Dave Savula so much. If you all know, that's within our Legal Shield family, which was once, I can say Primerica, I was in that too. Once was legal, Lord have mercy. Okay, let me back up. Legal Shield, which was once Prepaid Legal, Dave Savula was one of the top cream of the crop. And one of the things that he would always say is if you don't like your personality, get a new one. Why people say, well, that's just my personality. No, it's not. It is. But you can get another one. You can change it. Because everything else is an excuse. Okay? Everything else is an excuse. Oh, I'm just like that. No, you're not. You programmed yourself to be like that. You've had a thinking process that you've gone through that have said that that's who you are and that's what you're like. And now that's your truth, right, of how you are with that. That's your truth. It doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong, but it does open the door for if you want answers about how you feel or why you feel certain ways about different things. See? But you got to be open to do that. You know? Got to be open. Okay. So, let's recap what we've done today. We're going to work on that, not have to. Ask somebody what are the things that you say that puts loads on you. I have to, you know, I'm the only one that can do it this way. I'm the only one that can do it. If that's you, and we all have something that we've done that with before, in my opinion. So, in closing, I want to talk about the next thing, which by the way, everything that we talked about tonight, that's not your personality. How you think, that's not your personality. That's your programming. It's not personality, it's programming. You can name the script and rewrite it to a response. Okay? Remember, we're working on respond, don't react. So episode 3 is going to be about the awareness, right? So the awareness is the first level of intervention. If you're not aware of something, you can't do nothing. So we got to have the awareness. So we're going to focus on that. And in closing, I want to mention to you, again, if you're not following me, do so. Thank you for all the hearts and love, y'all. Give me some more. Give me some more. Give me some more. And on Facebook, guys, help me to grow the heart-to-heart community, because I do the show, but I want the feedback and the community as a whole that enjoys this kind of stuff and this kind of growth, because what I do with this isn't for everybody. And it's okay, right? It's okay. It's enough of us in this world that if you don't want to have nothing to do with Lady Love and heart to heart, guess what? There's just as many that do. And I'm okay with either one. Okay? This is okay. So if you're with me and you have others that you think would like to do this, share. And I'm putting everything on Facebook. I mean, also on TikTok. Lord, I cannot get it together. On YouTube for all the replays for this season. So episode 1 is already up there. And then this evening, I'll have this one loaded up and all that. So, I done hit my thing to go. Lord have mercy. Okay, here we go. I have to watch my notes and look at them to make sure I cover everything and the things that I also want to say. So, we're going to do that intervention. And we talked about, the prompt for you to be with me and all of that. And we're going to go into the awareness next week, okay? So, it is, somebody told me I was going to end up being like 45 minutes to an hour, because I do end up getting on a little preaching a little bit. But anyway, I have to try to bring it down. So I don't have the ending music, but I just have me and my voice. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week, for those of you that can make it. And if you can't, make sure you see the playback. Look forward to the clips that I'll send during the week. They'll be focused on the awareness that we're talking about and the TikToks. And share some love and help me build my algorithm Your support is greatly appreciated. I love you. Take care, and I will see you next week and throughout the whole process of life. On purpose. I love you. I love you. I love you, and I'm always thinking of you and of you and of you. There ain't nothing